Last week, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security was reported to have come up with an intelligence report on China. Yes, again, something bad about China. Not surprising, right? The report said that China withheld information about the severity of its COVID-19 outbreak back in January because the country wanted to hoard medical supplies for itself. Okay, that is something new, but not to rush, not yet, because the department said in that report that their level of confidence in the conclusion is moderate. You are serious, right? I'm Serena, and welcome to Facts Tell. So, in the general sense, what are the levels of confidence? Well, you can have high, moderate, and low confidence, and it's easy to understand what high and low mean, but moderate, which is in between, it generally means you've interpreted information in various ways, come to an alternate view, or maybe the information you have is credible and plausible, but not sufficiently corroborated. Simply put, when someone has moderate confidence, they just aren't sure. When you are not 100% sure, why say anything? Unfortunately, the report has circulated online and been picked up by several US media outlets, which to some extent helped spread the story. I want to simply point out 3 things about this moderate confidence report I am actually confident about. First, China hit the virus severity in January. Well, saying something over and over doesn't make it true. It makes you a broken record. China notified the WHO of the outbreak on December 31st, the US CDC on January 3rd, identified the virus on January 8th, and announced that human-to-human transmission was possible on January 20th. And China has provided steady updates ever since. Got it? Second, China slashed global exports. Chinese people go home and visit their families during Lunar New Year, which usually falls in January and February. During that time, businesses and factories shut down for more than a week. Exports in various sectors will also decline as production comes to a standstill. Easy to understand, right? Besides, after battling SARS in 2003, China was well aware of the devastation that could arise from a new outbreak. So, to protect its 1.4 billion people, exports of medical supplies were cut and imports increased, not to hide the severity of the virus, but to take precautionary measures for what could come. It's called preparation, a concept Washington doesn't seem to know too much about. While Washington still argues about January, China is gradually going back to work and sending millions of medical supplies to nearly 200 countries and regions, including the United States. And this reminds me of an old Chinese saying, when disaster struck, help came from all sides, and help is exactly what China is trying to do. The Department of Homeland Security is spinning these protective measures into something malicious. But hey, what else is new?